Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Today I'm going to just show you, it's just a little bit information. I've had a young man, he emails me now and again, Matthias, and well, he tries to pick my brain now and again for how to do certain things, and some things I just can't help him with. Some things are just in my head and I just can't explain them how I know how I do a lot of things. But he was asking about the Rosebud lace pattern today, and apparently the number of stitches that he was asking me about, what he should start and finish with, the number of stitches that he said he had on the for the child's cardigan that he's doing is the same number of stitches for a baby's cardigan that I'm doing. So I'm going to show how I work out the Rosebud lace, and I'm doing actually doing a one at the moment. This is how far I've got with this little baby. It's all in one. You know, I've done it all in one. It makes it easier to do it with this pattern here, to do it all in one, so you get all across the whole thing without any breaks, where you would have the breaks down the sides for the seams. So this is how far I've got with this one, and I'm going to show them how I worked out the Rosebud lace pattern on this. And there's a little one of the sleeves. One of the sleeves there, and I've just started on the other one. I could have had this finished last night, but I was watching a film on the television and I couldn't concentrate on it, because when you're doing patterns like this with lacy patterns, you need to look at your work. I can knit without looking at what I'm doing, as long as it's just knitting, you know, plain knitting, or even some patterns I don't need to keep looking at what I'm doing, but this one I do, because I have to make sure I'm putting the holes for the lace in the right place, instead of just looking at the television and counting the number of stitches I'm doing. So that's how far I've got with that one anyway, and I will show you later on when I get the whole thing finished. So I'm going to show you that I've done a separate little video and I'm joining it to this one to show how I work out the Rosebud lace, for anyone else who might be interested and might be having a little bit trouble working out how to do the rosebud, where to put the rosebuds, and how much to do the space between the rosebuds. And I will show you on this little video what I do anyway. Well, hello everyone, this is Sheila. I'm back again. So I've done this is the way I work out my Rosebud lace pattern. This is for 99 stitches here. This is the one I'm actually doing at the moment. I've got less stitches in between here, but I'm doing it with the 5 stitches in between to make it easier for anybody. But the pattern I'm doing, it's a little child's cardigan, and it's a back and 2 front all in one. So I've got 99 stitches. And what I do is I put it out on a piece of paper first. I work out where I'm putting the Rosebud lace, the little stitches on the thing first. So I work out half. I find the centre stitch, which is that one here. It's a knit stitch, and that's 50 stitches. That leaves 49 stitches from here, which is a mirror image from these 2 little holes here to stitch number 1. So you only need to do it for half of the stitches, which is all I've got enough space for on this piece of paper. I'm really going to have to get some graph paper. I think it would be easier to work it out on the graph paper. So I worked this out after 50 stitches, and the mirror image won't include this stitch here. The mirror image is from the 2 little holes here. So I've got from stitch 1 here on this row, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's enough for the stitches in between, but there's only 2 stitches left, which is not enough to do a full rosebud, so I just miss it out. And then I start the 2 the 2 holes here, the single stitch and the 2 holes, and then I have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches in between that rosebud and the next rosebud, and so on all the way along to this one here. And then, as you can see, this is the single little stitch above. So I've done the next one. For the next rosebud lace that goes in between these stitches here, I've just put it underneath on the line underneath, just to save working out another little line here and doing this one again. So at this time you start with 2 stitches, and then you have the 5 stitches of the rosebud, and then the 5 stitches in between where the other rosebud was, and then the 5 stitches again for the rosebud, and so on all the way along. And with the mirror image you will be left with 2 stitches again at the end. And I have done 4 rows, sorry. I've done 4 rows between each lot of rosebud lace pattern stitches. And that's the way I work it out before I start knitting. And you must have an odd number of stitches, otherwise the pattern won't work out with the same number of stitches at the start as what you have at the finish. So there must be an odd number of stitches, and you must have the odd number of stitches in between the rosebud laces, for the one that comes in between has to be in the centre stitch. So you have 2 stitches on either side of that centre stitch. And this is the way I work out this this pattern. And I'm going to send this by email to Matthias as well, and hope that he can understand. I hope it's understandable for everybody. So you have to realise that you do have to have an odd number of stitches, even though the stitches here, there's 5 in the bud, and there's 5 in between is an even number, which is 10 stitches. But you still have to have an odd number of stitches for the stitches to come 2 stitches at the start and 2 stitches at the finish. That's the way the pattern works. Whether there's an odd number or an even number in the middle. If you say put like 4 stitches or 6 stitches, this part of the pattern here won't come in the centre of it, because it'll be off centre because of the 5 stitches here. You have to put that centre stitch there in the middle of the rosebud, in the middle of the centre stitch of the stitches that you have in between the rosebuds. That's the way it works. And if this has been helpful to anybody, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll let you see the little rosebud cardigan when I finish it. And that's how I work out the rosebud lace, where to actually put all the stitches. And this little one as well, this is the same as the rosebud lace, but it's only got the first row of the 2 little holes. So you work out exactly the same way as what I showed on that little bit of the video for this one as well. Only making the 2 little, they're like 2 little eyes. I would call this bird's eye, but there's a brand called Bird's Eye, and I might get sued if I use that name. But you work this one out exactly the same as you do for this one. And it's quite an easy pattern. It's one of the easiest patterns. I've done this as a raglan. I don't know which way Matthias is doing his, but I prefer raglans for baby ones. I do set in sleeves for the older children, but I think the raglan is better for really small babies, because this is for a new baby. This one. Yeah, the sleeve as well. The sleeve up there. And this is my last sleeve I'm doing. And I'll get this finished today, no trouble. And I've got plenty of time. I've got until tomorrow night to finish, but I'm going to finish it today because I want it over and done with, and then I can get some of those coasters done that I was doing for the girls, and maybe get this one finished before I start on my next large order is another Rosebud pattern cardigan, so I'll be doing that one in my sleep. As I can say, it's my own design. It is probably out there somewhere, but I made this design years ago when I had my knitting machine. And I've carried it on into my hand knitting. So that's my little bit for today. So thumbs up and subscribe, which I think I've already said in that video, but I forgot now. I forgot that I said it, so I'm saying it again. Thumbs up and subscribe. Bye for now.